Morning world, welcome to Thursday, May the 5th, and I shouldn't be here. I should be there. So why am I not there? Well, a couple of reasons. I want to be there. Let's have that straight to begin with. I want to be, but I can't. Reason number one is I've had a little flare up on ulcerative colitis. I have ulcerative colitis, so I've had a little flare up on that, and I'm always wary of going too far from home. When I don't think, touch wood, I don't think this is going to come to a lot. I think it's only a glitch, but this is how it always starts. It's just a little bit of an issue. Usually it goes away, but occasionally it'll come out and poleaxe me. So I didn't want to be up in NEC in Birmingham to be poleaxed, because then I'd struggle to get home. It'd be really uncomfortable to get home. Second reason is Matt Bell from Timac AGRO is coming to visit me today. He was coming yesterday, and we had kind of arranged, but he double booked himself. So he's coming today around about 11 o'clock, a couple of hours. And I think there was talk of maybe inviting another member of the team who is their organic specialist. I think it's a lady. I don't know much about it. The idea is they're going to come and talk to us about our grass. They're going to talk to us about what they can do to help us, subject to soil samples. So I think we're going to go out and dig a few little holes around the farm, take some soil samples. They'll take them away, analyse us, tell us what we have got in our ground, tell us what we haven't got in our ground, what the deficiencies are, what we could do to improve our grass. Now I'll just go back and remind you fellas, ladies and gentlemen, when I took the farm on from my dad nearly 30 years ago, it had been out on, it had been let out for 20 years before there, and I don't really know what the previous tenant had put on the ground. Not a lot, as far as I'm aware. So when I took it on, we decided to try and go organic. And the first 18 years of me running this place, we ran it as, we ran it organic. We weren't registered, we weren't a soil association, that because I refused to pay for someone to come and say, oh yeah, you're organic. And yeah, I am. I definitely am. So we sold all our beef as beef, lamb and everything else. We sold it locally as organic. And if anybody wanted evidence that it was organic, they were welcome to come down and see what we did with the farm. It's old fashioned, all right? So not like red tractor and stuff you have these days where there's rules and regulations and people come out and inspect you and charge you loads and loads of money to come and tell you what you already know. I know, wrong attitude. But anyway, so I only met Matt a week or so back down at Reg's when he came to talk to Reg about Pink Star, which was the fertilizer we used with the seed, with the drilling on our oilseed rape. I know nothing about Pink Star. Put the video up. It was a bit windy, so it was difficult to hear what you were saying. So today we'll try and make a bit more effort to get a bit more quality out of the video if we can. And we're looking at maybe starting a story, a series here. Our grassland is poor. We only have, at very best, about 4 inches of topsoil, about that much topsoil. And we do struggle with volume and quality of grass. Now that's partially because we graze it a lot. I mean, the only reason these guys are still in here at the moment really is one, some of them have got to have the bull to go to them, and I can't put the bull out with some of the other ones. It's an animal management thing, that's another story. But two, our grass is only just now starting to grow. We've had a little bit of moisture, 3 or 4 millimeters, but that's all we've had in the last month. Not enough. So the cattle are still in because I want the grass to get away. Right, so yeah, Matthew and his colleague, if she comes, are hopefully gonna find a cost-effective solution because it's got to come down to cost. A cost-effective solution to improve our grass, to improve our stock, to basically improve the profit of the farm. That's the bottom line, is the farm's got to earn its living. So, yeah, when Matt gets here and his colleague, we'll have a chat with them, we'll go and dig some holes, we'll put soil in bags, we'll have another chat, cup of coffee, and then I suppose we'll just wait for results of what our soil does or doesn't. Yeah. But yeah, so that's the other reason that I can't go to Lama. So, such is. Right, one side done, one side to go. Come on in. Right, I'm only going to clear out actually at the front by the feeders where they stand. Along the front there, the back ain't too bad. This won't take very long. Hello. I got a funny feeling he's out of fuel. Then he wouldn't start at all, would he? Or has that fuse gone again? Okay, so it's something to do with the hydraulic lock. Oh joy. Something else to fault find and fix. So whatever it is definitely on the hydraulics, which means it's probably one of the micro switches somewhere, which is just locking the hydraulics out. I could have done without it today though. Right, well, they're going to have their bed half done. Oh, there he is!
Hello, how are you?
Yeah, not too bad in yourself.
Good, I'm keeping very well, thank you.
Is it just you, or have you bought...
Just me, she's going to come back another day because she's got her meetings overrun.
I don't want a stone. I don't want a stone. Yeah. Cup of tea first?
That'd be great,
Cup
yeah.
of tea.
She's desperate to meet you though.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so it won't...
Desperate to meet me?
Oh, yeah.
No, they're all like that. So, everybody, Matthew, Bell, from Timac AGRO. Yeah. Agro, yeah. So, I met Matthew a week or two back over at Reg's when we were looking at, I'm going to talk about Pink Star.
Yeah.
Which I'll be perfectly honest, when I first got there, when Reg invited me over, I thought we were talking about tractors.
All right.
I didn't have a clue what was going on. And then I came in and met you, and there's like this Pink Star, and it's good.
Yeah, the Pink Star started quite
Didn't have a clue what was going on. So it wasn't until about halfway through it kind of cottoned on what was happening. And Reg had invited me to come in to listen to the conversation and any input, which is why I was very quiet at the beginning, going, what are you talking about? But then, of course, I mentioned the grass, and usually we have our grassland, and you said, "Oh, I might have something we can help with
Right,
that."
definitely. It's, we do have a few solutions that can definitely help with the grassland health, yield, quality. But if we start looking down that road, we need to see what's going on. So you've struggled.
You need to know where you're starting with, don't you?
Yeah, you've struggled with weed inputs you've been putting in for a while now.
Well, we got about 4 inches at best of topsoil, and then we're on thick yellow clay, which goes down about 2 foot, and then we're on blue clay. So the drainage isn't that good.
No.
Although we're doing something with that, we put a lot more drains in the last year or so. I've always tried to keep stuff as organic as we can.
Yeah.
I don't like chemical stuff.
When you really have to, not just because you can.
I do it, yes, exactly. Yeah. I don't do it because I can, I do it when...
Nothing else has worked on a more natural level.
Yeah. So like the creeping thistle was creeping.
Yeah.
And I could top it as much as I wanted. The problem was though, I'm topping the thistle, but I'm also taking the grass.
Yeah.
And it was like, it wasn't working. It wasn't working. So, but then you said, "Oh, we might be able to help you with that." So, so you're here.
We're here. So what we're going to look at today is there's no point even thinking about what we can put down until we know what's happening underneath.
We went out with a little spade.
A little spade, and the soil sampling little device thing, take some samples. So we're going to have a couple of dig holes and look we've got to dig down into.
Yeah.
To see if we're working with any compaction or just what state it's in, how's it smelling, how's it looking, what's your your worm count if you like. Of earthworms.
Yeah.
And then we'll start taking some core samples to do some soil samples. We can actually see what the nutrient values are within the soil.
Because you've got to start somewhere.
Exactly, because if your pH is wrong, if your P and K are high or low, there's no point in deciding what we're going to put down until we know exactly what's already there, because we could be making the matter worse if we're putting too much down, or we might be addressing the wrong issues. We'll also look at the trace elements within the soil too to see if there's a deficiency in a particular one of those that could be
because that can lock up stuff, can it?
It can lock up stuff. It can also, there's if you look at the way of growing it, there's the nutrients in the soil as a barrel, and the lowest stave is as far as that barrel can go. The yield being the full barrel. So if we're missing any of the trace element that's keeping that stave low, then your yield's never going to get above that one particular deficiency.
So this to me is brilliant.
Well, it's very new to me. So my background isn't from the agronomy side, the agricultural side, it's been more equine. But what I've always sort of championed is looking after what's around you to benefit your animal. Why buy in ton of feed when the things growing out in the field for free is the best source of food? So rather than investing a lot of money into buying something that someone else has produced, spend a bit more money looking after the land they're walking on, which you can get a much more yield, much better quality of yield and nutritional value.
Yeah, while looking after the ground as well.
While looking after the ground. So you look after the farm, you look after the soil, and as such, you look after your animals by giving them a better quality of grazing.
Brilliant.
It's the 360 approach we're looking at, and that's where my passion comes into, is that for me, my job is animal health and welfare, and that can literally start with the soil before you even get to what's going inside the animal.
Okay, right.
So fingers crossed, with a few holes and a week or two to get the analysis back, we'll have some answers on where to start looking into.
Yeah, okay. And then we can talk about what can we do and how we can do it.
Yeah, if it's actually, it's not going to happen, I'm walking away. I'm sure it's not going to be.
Thanks for the coffee, tell us.
Exactly. Okay, so first thing we do is dig ourselves a little hole.
Yeah.
We can actually see what the structure of the soil's going like and try and see if there's any alarming health side of it. So
okay.
Looking at the structure, how it's clumping together, sort of mould, fungus, worms, the negative side of it, but also the positives we're looking for as well.
Okay.
What you're really looking for is a good amount of worms per square metre.
We like worms.
When you're cutting the soil, to be having a look at the structure, you don't want to cut it on all four sides, because as the spade goes down, it's going to blur the lines between what's happening at the different levels.
All right.
So you want to get a nice good deep, if you can get the spade in, but do get it deep as far as you can.
You need to eat more pies.
More pies, yep. Wow. Well, I say compacted goes without saying.
Yeah.
But we were expecting something like this.
We were.
Yep. Okay. Let's have a little bit of thatching up here as well. We've got organic matter that's not breaking down and being utilised. The roots though are all the way through, but they could be stronger. You've got to get in, get your hands dirty on this sort of thing.
It's nice, dry, it's not that dirty.
It's holding together, it's quite crumbly. I am seeing a few worms, which is also a good sign, and this little bloke's up.
Is that a wire worm? We don't like them.
So far, just the one. I see more worms than I have them. I'm sure we'll find across some more. Okay, so you know you're on clay, it's got a good clay consistency to it. There we go. So we can see here, your roots are getting through. They don't look to be the strongest of roots. They are white, I'm not seeing any black roots at the moment, which is a good sign. Again,
so this had sheep out here until about a month ago.
Okay, yeah, probably here. Okay, white roots. So whilst this soil analysis is still a bit of a new thing to me, it's easier to see what's wrong than what's right with these things. So I'm not seeing any black mould, and a really good test to do is just actually stick your nose in it and smell it. You don't want a heavy metallic smell or a foul smell or a stale smell. You want it to really smell like just fresh dirt. And obviously it sounds obvious, but you'd be surprised how much you stick your nose in this and it actually smells not what you're expecting. So we're going to stick it in, and that smells earthy, surprisingly. But I'm not getting any metallic smells. I'm not smelling any sort of mould. I'm going to sort of think, so if I pass over to you to have a bit of a sniff as well.
Yeah.
Like a clean, earthy smell.
It smells like dirt?
Yeah, smells like dirt, yeah. So I stuck my face in one a little while ago, and just getting close, you've got this metallic punch at the back of your throat. So obviously something wasn't quite right there. It crumbles nicely. One thing, we'll take a photo, and I'll compare this to the sheet when we get back to get an idea of where we are looking. And it's always good to take a photo when you're, so you can go back and actually have a look at that later day, especially get your colleagues involved to help assess what's going on, those who've been doing it for decades. So here we've got the roots going down to here, so whilst they're not shallow as shadow, they could still be going down a few more inches quite nicely. That's what we need to do, is we need to break up the compaction we've got.
So a bit of flat lifting would be good.
Flat lifting, yeah, even slitting to get the surface compaction broken up. And what we've also seen here is the thatching.
Yeah. So this field hasn't been slit, but that one over there has.
So it'd be good to see what the comparison is between the two when we get there. So definitely, it's always worth slitting, even if your field's in good condition. It's worth slitting at least once a year, ideally twice a year, because it's not just about breaking up the compaction. It's also about getting the extra oxygen into the roots, because they are a living thing. They need the oxygen to be able to respire and do their properties properly. And if you haven't got oxygen, you can get anaerobic, and that's when you're going to get your bad bacteria coming up as well. So even if you haven't got a compaction issue, get the slitter out there at least once in the spring, and ideally again in the autumn, especially taking the animals off, because then you've got this lovely slit. Split soils go through ready for the spring when you turn them back out again. There we go. And obviously we definitely got some mid, and if I can get down deep enough, deep compaction. So that would say probably going to get the Reg out here with his favourite machine to come in there. Lift and drop.
Well, he had to get some different discs or something for doing the grassland. So it is a big tool, mind.
It is, yes. And you've got a big tractor to go with it as well.
You've got a very big tractor, The T8 would look nice out here, wouldn't it?
Okay, well, you've definitely got a strong root structure, there's no doubt about that.
And there's another one there. Little buggers.
But again, this is absolutely solid. So the shovel's not, the spade it's not coming into contact with this at all. In fact, the spade was bending trying to get this out, but
it was.
Did
you say something about cheap spade? Was it?
I don't know how cheap it is. I don't think it's the cheapest, but it was. It's having a little like a pop every now and then. But that is just, it's absolutely solid. So you can see by the roots aren't going through this. All the roots kind of around this line here, we'll be able to pull it out. And here you've got a few of the tips of the roots, but nothing really going through much deeper. And again, would you be able to get your smallest part of your body through that compaction? No. So the roots obviously struggling there as well. Here, it is looking different. Take some photos and have a look at it, sort of assess what we're actually fully looking at here.
A lot of brown fleck in there.
There is a lot of brown fleck in here. Again, your thatch, it's quite a lot of thatch. So thatch, this is dead grass that isn't breaking down and becoming part of the soil structure. So we do have a product called Humistart, and its entire property of Humistart is to speed up the mineralisation and breakdown of organic matter, be it grass, be it thatch, be it poo, straw, whatever it is. The whole concept is it works on multiple levels to speed up that process, so those nutrients break down, become part of the soil structure, but also bring the nutrients that are there into that to support whatever's growing. So for example, it might be the nitrogen, whatever in the poo, and again whatever sort of nutrients are going to be available in all this. At the moment it's sat there doing nothing, and probably actually limiting the amount of oxygen available to the roots. So by even just before you get to fertilisers, our soil conditioner Humistart might be an option here once we get the results back. So again, let's stick our face in this. Now I think that doesn't smell like the other one did.
No, it doesn't.
It's quite just not alive.
There's nothing. There's no real smell, is there?
No, it's just, there's no healthy smell. There's no. It doesn't smell like a good earthy smell. It's just stale. It's just, there's nothing there. So it'd be quite interesting to see. Get some photos of these and compare these to the book. See what we can work out for those brown spots.
That's it. Never knew you were there.
Okay. Leave it as you found it.
Yeah.
If not better. We can't do better, so.
Mind you, if it stays really, really dry, I'll come back and find a little brown spot there in a couple of weeks.
Come and water it a couple of times a day. Make sure it lives.
Yeah.
Right, so now, fun job of walking the W's to get the soil sample.
Oh, great.
So,
is that what this thing's for?
Exactly, yes. What we'll do is we'll put it on the ground, step on it, fill the plug up with soil,
Yeah.
we'll fill this up entirely. We want at least 16 samples, if not more.
Yeah.
That then gets packed into bags, sent off to be analysed, and it will tell you how this field is performing.
Okay, let's do it.
We'll start from the gate corner. We want to avoid being too around the gateways, avoid being around the water troughs, and avoid being around the heavily defecated areas, because if we are testing for organic matter as well.
Yeah.
And we
Give
want
you a
organic
false positive, wouldn't it?
Exactly, well, yeah.
Yeah.
You want the organic matter to be present because it means you've kind of got a fridge full of nutrients that are waiting to be used.
Okay.
But, you know, if you're going to stick this device straight through a pat, it's going to up that level a little bit.
A bit, yeah.
Yeah. So here we go. So it's quite simply, and whilst I'm doing soil sample, you want to maintain an even depth so you've got a good fair representation of the field. So the great thing about this, I think we've got enough topsoil to do it, so I'm going to drive it all the way in to get a good sized core sample across where we go, and then it gets smushed up into a bag.
Yeah.
We'll see that a bit later on. So
Okay.
we're going to walk a W, so if we start, or an M, depending on which way you're going to look at it.
Yeah.
So we'll start here, and we'll just start walking across that as we go.
Okay.
So it's quite much of that, and out, and then walk a few strides. It's a great way to spend your afternoon.
Isn't it just? I remember doing turf management, obviously with turf management, and a machine that did this. Just took plugs out, and then we go out behind it with sand and rake it all in.
Oh,
and
lovely.
football pitch stuff.
Nice
And golf course stuff.
Get some more of that.
Right, sample one.
So sample one from field one. We'll take a couple of each so we've got enough to work with and then blend it all together. Okay, so put it in the bag and we'll keep walking. You okay with that, Ian?
Yeah, yeah, I got it, yeah. Although I know the bag is going to get heavier, isn't it? Yeah, I know the blame for that though. That's one of our fairy rings there.
Alright.
So they'll usually go green if we have a bit of rain, but because it's been too dry. So the old magic mushroom ring. I don't think it is actually magic mushrooms. So they offer protection against harmful fungus and increases the surface area of the root to help absorb moisture and dissolve nutrients.
Well, you know it, nature doing its own thing better.
Yeah, see, even I learned a bit at college. Look.
Well, there you go. I think this was worthwhile. Then wasn't this about drinking in late nights?
That's right. Yeah. So that actually came out easier.
Yeah, easier by not going so deep, but she's still not going to let go of all of her secrets. Yeah. But we know we've got compaction issues, so it's not unknown to us. Let's have a look. So again, we've got a good root system. How deep are we? A bit deeper than the other field, which is good. About another half inch to an inch deeper than the others.
Yeah.
There's still some improvements to go on there.
And then I said this hasn't been ploughed since the war.
Yep.
And those two out there both have. So whether there's a bit of erosion in that, or we wouldn't have thought so, because where's it going to go?
Yeah, it's kind of staying put. As you can see here, we've got a darkening around here. I think that's organic matter waiting to be utilised. And it's just sat there waiting at the moment. Open this up. So, a little bit.
I haven't seen a leather jacket yet.
No, not in this one. And this one does smell more like the first filter in the playground.
Mm.
It's a bit more earthy, not quite. You can see that it's a slight metallic afternote.
I don't know if I can notice that or not, so definitely smells like dirt.
Smells like dirt, definitely smells like dirt. Maybe on here, what's here different? Okay, we can see we've got...
It's when you find an old penny in there going, oh, that's why it smells metallic.
Yeah.
Horseshoe or something.
Yeah. Okay, let's have a look. So I'm not seeing, like we saw in the, what's it, the bottom avenue?
Yeah.
And the second one in the playground, actually, that was where the brown was, and the real stale smell, so we haven't got that again, thankfully. But again, we're not seeing any life, we're not seeing any worms that we want to see, we're not seeing any grubs. We're not seeing leather jackets as well, which I guess is the bonus, but we're not seeing the life we'd hope to be seeing. Yeah, especially, yeah, so we're not exactly the deepest, but we're not shallow. You expect to be seeing at least 1 or 2 worms, and we're not seeing those in here. So we've only seen those in...
Would that be partially down to because it's so dry, though?
It could be acidity.
They've just gone down.
Acidity, could be less of nutrients. So, you know, worms don't like acidity as much as we do. It's just touching their skin, and it's uncomfortable for them. So if the soil is too acidic, they're less likely to be hanging around. So when we get the results back for playground versus these ones where we haven't seen any worms, it'd be quite interesting to see if these are more acidic than the one that does have the worms inside them.
Proof of the pudding.
It is proof of the pudding.
What have we got there?
Oh, we've got some grub.
I'm not sure what you are.
It looks like actually looks like a fly maggot, does it not?
Yeah, it does, but
don't tend to see those in the ground.
It does look like a fly maggot.
Was there a bit of poo that we brought in there with us?
I don't know. He's quite happy.
Yeah. Same kind of thing. So we know there's a compaction issue, which we can look into. The slittings obviously help with the surface compaction. It's not as bad as with the others in the field that haven't been slitted, and it's that mid and deep compaction, which the top down will hopefully help break up and resolve, allow a bit more nutrients for the.
Yeah.
Well, don't bury him because he doesn't want to be buried.
We never know. That's food for something, isn't it?
Well, yeah, exactly. There'll be a bird coming by, one of those swallows you want around.
Yeah. What were they doing in there? Oh, look, lunch. Yeah, so this was golf course, but like I say, it used to be Barnleys.
Yeah.
And it's, to my memory, always been grass.
Oh, okay, you can smell. Yeah, compared to the last 2 or 3 we've had.
Yes.
I
can smell a dog too. Yeah.
Well, we've got our helpers now to come and assist in the process of digging holes.
Look, you two.
We have some life in this one.
Worms?
Yep. We've seen one so far. It's more than what we've seen in the others. Try and get behind this.
Leave him alone.
That's about 3 or 4 inches of roots from what I can see on that bit.
Where worm?
One of our little friends.
Yeah, no friend of mine. We don't want him.
It smells much more pleasant than the last few, and actually has a.
What's that?
Is this one being slitted?
No, not this year. It was slit last year, but not this year.
And we're not seeing.
It got too hard. It was a case of it needs to be moist enough to get the blades down in, or add more weight, I suppose. But
yeah, this one isn't too hard to crumble up. So the ones we've been in before, we couldn't get to crumble. It's absolutely solid. That could be obviously quite a lot of clay. Also, the compaction's going to be part of that. This one's breaking up quite nicely. Again, we've got some good roots in there. So the health of this field, from what we can see visually, better than the sort of bottom avenue and avenue. There's a bit more life in this one than there was in the other, which is good. Not as bad. And the fields, there we go. There's nice big juicy ones. We want many more of this little thing running around, really. So let's not damage you, let's keep you safe, because there's limited numbers as it is. Okay, so let's see some sample like this one. Let's see what we look coming in. But yeah, just the one little blighter in this one, thankfully.
yeah, well, like I say, we don't want too many of those. I haven't seen a single leather jacket yet.
Oh, touch wood.
Yeah, oh no, I don't want to see him.
Let's not ask for it.
Yeah, I definitely don't want to see him. They're not welcome.
Oh, this ground's much softer than the others.
Is it?
Yep. Going in like a hot knife through butter. Oh yeah.
So this is the one that you want to do for pigeon meat.
Pigeon meat, yeah, because
pigeon meat's dead.
it's really struggling.
Yeah.
We need to know what's going on there more. But he's put a lot of money and time into that field, and it's not giving the yield or the results we're expecting.
We have thrown a lot of money at that field, and it's done nothing.
Hand over fist for the sounds of it.
Yeah.
So with the rest of the fields, I think what we call a basic, which is the grassland extra, I think it's going to be sufficient. Then we'll do your major nutrients, your pH, as well as your trace sediments.
So the soil tests on those fields are how much a piece?
They're £25 HVAC. So
right.
it is. We do it as we don't do it as a service as such. It's we do it as cost price effectively, so that we can. When we come back with solutions, we're giving you solutions based on genuine information.
But £25 as a fee.
You're looking at 2-3 times that if you were to go and buy it from a distributor or a retailer, etc. So it's one thing that we use as a tool to support the process of making sure we give you the correct information to benefit your land.
Yeah, I think it's quite reasonable. So.
When we say it to people, like, wow, I expected a lot more than that. But for this soil respiration test, it's a little bit more because it's going into much more of in depth. It's going to give you actual counts on the organisms that should be living inside your soil to see what's going on there as well. That one is £45 XVAT, and I think if we keep that one just for the biggest field we're having an issue with, because we need to know pigeon meat, we need to know more information because we can't treat that as the same for something's not going right. So let's have a much more detailed result, and we can take a better advice from that information. So we'll get it all sorted, we'll fill out the information. We use Landcrop because they know what they're doing and they're really effective at their services. So I'll get the paperwork filled in on my end, so when we send samples in, they know exactly what they're looking for. We have a lovely little carbon book here that we'll use for that. So the book itself will distinguish between what you're using the grazing for, what we're growing on the grazing. We just complete the sheet, we ask them what they're looking into. They'll do that, they'll come back to our office, then our product expert, the technical manager, he's FACS qualified, he'll look through that for you, come up with a genuine suitable solution that we have recommendations that we would suggest to start the process of getting your soil health where it needs to be, so that your grass health can improve, so we can support the cattle. It won't be all about the Timac solutions. He will recommend other brand solutions if there is a more suitable product than what we have to offer. For Timac, we want to make sure that you've got the right offerings, not just what you have. Exactly. So most people are like, why are you doing that? Well, for us, it's giving you the honest approach that we can support the 360 approach to your farm.
Better to have some of the business rather than none of the
business.
Yeah.
Traditionally, when you're looking at sort of 5-10% maximum of your inputs, so we go to people who don't have the issues you're having at the moment, who just generally want inputs, and they say, well, how much do you want? But we just want maybe your first N input for the year, because our technology support the efficiency of the commodities that will be used later on. We just want to be used at the optimum time to support how your farm produces overall throughout the year.
I have to go and ask my wife if I can buy a fertiliser spreader.
If it can.
I got a couple of neighbours who can do it for me.
So. You've got a good farmers buying who'll be able to help you. But if having this additional approach and extra attention to detail does help, then you might be able to justify having one in the future.
You never know.
I'm sure people having trees to cut down might need a spreader, so follow through.
You never know.
Look at every viability. So that's what we're doing that one. So we'll set them up as soil respiration. We'll set the rest of them up as a general grassland extra, and we're doing grassland extra rather than basic because we want to know what your trace elements are. Because if they're not there in the soil, like I said, they're not going to be in the grass.
Well, and is something missing that's locking up, or something that's too much there that's locking up other nutrients?
Well, we've got the buttercups in there, so that is going to indicate maybe slightly more acidic soil than we're expecting. That alone can be issues. But again, you can go too far the other way and have an alkali soil locking up other minerals and nutrients that we're after. So it's getting to where we are, knowing where we are, and then getting to a place where it needs to be. And the great thing about when it comes to our marine-based calcium sources in our conditioners, unlike terrestrial, they're not sliming, they are buffering. So even if you put it down on alkaline soil, it's not going to cause it to become more alkaline, but they have a much greater surface area compared to terrestrial calciums. So it will have many benefits of getting that pH up and maintaining it where it needs to be. So pigeon meat, let's find that one and just mark that one as a respiratory test, because we need to know what's going wrong, should I say, in that one.
It would be nice to know what's going on there, because it's been a bugbear for years, and we've tried all sorts to try and get it back. But this is kind of what we should have done in the first place. Really.
But did you know that was an option years ago? No, and again, I didn't know it was an option until I joined the company. I didn't know you could do these things with your soil health, and this is what Timac's trying to do through and through. It's not just buy our products, it's not just whack our products on your farm. It's knowing what you're walking over before you do anything. Because if we don't know what our feet are standing on, how can we know what to give it?
couldn't have put it better myself.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same with the cattle. You don't know what the cattle cage should be if you don't know what their requirements are. And the beef cattle and dairy cattle require two different energy requirements.
Well, we don't tend to use cakes or anything like that.
Because you're grass and reared,
It's
even
all
better.
grass and that's...
That's obviously the majority, if not all, of your diet. So if we can increase the nutritional value of your grass at the same time as sorting out its yield,
that's what I'm after.
Yeah, and that's what we can do. So we know easily we can take care of the protein. We know easily we can take care of the trace elements. In normal conditions, we pretty much guarantee an extra ton of dry matter per hectare as a standard, just by using our aid solutions. If we can, fix what's going wrong here, in the case of your situation with your baseline, it could be much greater than 1 ton of dry matter per hectare. So fingers crossed.
Yeah.
If we can get the soil health back to where it should be, we'll have an increased yield anyway, and then with our solutions, further increasing that yield and that quality.
Okay. Could be the beginnings of a wonderful relationship.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it. The start to finish, it could go one or two ways, let's face it.
Divorce or
or happily married all the way.
No.
But I do think it's been quite interesting to see. We spoke about a couple of weeks ago when we were down at the other farm looking at the oilseed rape, and it's one thing to talk about, it's another thing to see it. And I was quite it wasn't perfect for the rest of the fields, but it was good. And then when we got to Pigeon Mead, it kind of did open up the eyes a little bit. So I know exactly where you're coming from now. And
it was kind of, it's been tearing our hair out trying to get that right, and nothing we've done. And some of it's been bad luck. Some of it's been bad timing. Some of it was somebody else's fault. We won't go into that one, we won't go into that. But it's just a case of I need to try and get it back. So and I said no, probably it's going to start from the subsoil
upwards.
Upwards. So
looking at it, and without damaging too much, and to make sure we support it. And we want, our whole logo, our motto is think different, farm better. So let's start thinking different about how we look after that particular field and see if we can get it to farm better and produce better.
So compaction seems to be a lot of our problems. So.
But understandably, you've done some slitting. It's helped with the surface compaction. The fields that have been slitted, the ones that haven't, you can see is surface, mid, and deep compaction as well. So there's plenty for us to do there as well, and I think we will get through it one stage at a time. May not be within the first year or the first months, but
no, it's not going to cure overnight, is it?
No, but if we can start showing some improvements within the first 12 months, then at least then it's a good investment to make, and we're heading in the right direction, and then we can take it from there.
Brilliant. All right. Well, all I can say is thank you very much.
It's been a pleasure to meet you again. Thank you for your time today.
And enjoy your steak.
I will do. I'm very much looking into that one.
Right then. Okay. Onwards and upwards.
Indeed it is. So
thank you.
Quick look at the dexters before I go, if that's all right.
Yeah. Let's do that. Yeah.
How's your day been? Good to see your face. How you doing? Tell me your story. I just wanna have a conversation. I just wanna make a friend or two. I'm not trying to change your mind. All I'm trying to do is be nice. 'Cause life's already hard enough, and you